We lived in Park Place, and my father, he sold the house and the barbershop and the restaurant, and we moved to Pasadena around 1944. He bought some property over on the old Tatar Street, which is Pasadena Boulevard now, and built a couple of buildings that he rented out and had a barbershop there. Well, Daddy built the service station to rent. He helped me when I bought the station. He worked for me for about 6 months. I don't know why, but I never did pay him anything. He just volunteered, and I took it. I'd sell a case of oil and go buy a case because I didn't have no inventory. And I woke up about 2 months and looked at my bank account, and it was in the hole, and Daddy went down, signed a note for $5,000 to pay what I owed and cover checks, and that's when I kind of woke up and said, whoa, I got to do something. So in 6 months, I had the tanks full, I had inventory, and I'd paid the $5,000 back. And that was at Pasadena State Bank when they were down there on Shaw Street. Wash a car and run out and fill a car. I washed, wax, grease, change oil, and I don't even think we hardly, if I didn't have anything to do and somebody come in, I'd try to do it. That's the way we learn eventually. He had a lime green Indian motorcycle. I used to run with him. We'd ride it. He worked at the Capitan Theater down there. He was assistant manager and usher, and he'd get up there and announce things on the stage of drawings and everything. And when I got in the Humble Station, he'd come through and he says, man, this is pretty neat. And I says, don't you ever go into a service station. About 3 weeks later, I'm driving home and I go by this Phillips station. I see his car there and I stop. I said, what'd you do? He said, I bought this station. I said, man, I told you never go into a service station. But anyway, we ended up together. He ended up buying a second station and then going into the parts business. They'd come in, they'd always say, well, who's the kid at the end of the counter? That kid has 3 kids or 2 kids. I can't remember how many I had then, but I always looked real young and I was very quiet. We bought the cheapest lumber, built our own shelves and our counter. In fact, it was so small that when they deliver parts, they had to put them outside. We didn't have room inside till we put them on the shelf. And from then on, we built all of our stores and built all of our shelves. We called him a wagon peddler. In the old days, a guy would have parts on a pickup or a truck or something, and he would sell off of the truck. But Mr. Spradlin would take an order and then go fill it and then bring it back. Mr. Spradlin took us in and he carried us and told the owner of that company, you let these boys have anything they want, and if they don't pay you, I'll pay you. He was good enough that he carried us to every place, introduced us, and I looked like I was probably 14 then. They give us coupons like green stamps, but it was from the different vendors like Monroe, Delco, AC, and we bought most of our stuff like a brand new station wagon with coupons. When we went down to buy it, and the guy said, how are you going to pay for it? And I said, with coupons. It messed their head up. They didn't know what to do with that many coupons in those days. They ended up doing it though. They had to call and make sure everything was kosher. Didn't pay any cash for anything. I was good at rebuilding anything over the phone. If a guy would listen to me, I could nearly get him to build anything over the phone. And of course, he would bring his neighbor in, because if you can't fix it, Edward will come out here tonight and help you. And we did. We'd close the store up, and then we'd go fix stuff that we had sold. When the guy says, I can't get it back together, I've tore it apart and I don't know how it goes. Just give me to 9 o'clock and I'll be there. And so we went out many, many times and helped people build stuff in the old days. That's after we got into the parts business full. Well, Sam and I, we had been in business for about 17 years. And for no reason, he walked in and says, I'm gonna go do something else. And I said, what are you gonna do? Muffler shop. And he went into the franchise and did real well at it. Oh, real good friends. Yeah. We stayed together more than we did our family, because we worked 7 days a week. We worked nearly 100 hours a week. That's hard to say, but we did. But you worked 7 and you start at 7, and at 9 o'clock, if you still had customers, you stayed. You know, when you get 86, your mind, you start changing your thinking. You don't, I see deals now that if I was 50, I'd hawk my soul and borrow money and do it. No more. I'm trying to spend the last dime when I die, and I've already spent it and I'm still alive.